And any number of champions, Gragas, Morgana was banned also. Gragas would work, but there's a couple of champions that still do very well against Karthus and Nivea. It just kind of depends on what they play.
So here we are heading into game number 2. Acer, if they can go ahead and win this one, they'll be moving on. But I'm still expecting an amazing display of skill here, game number 2, and it's just a matter of the bans. And WinFakt, I would absolutely expect a Karthus ban. Karthus is a ban that's pretty commonly seen in the EU anyway, so it's nothing too out of the ordinary. But you also have to mention what are you going to let go? WinFakt last game they banned out Morgana, Ari, and Jax. Going to take the Shen ban away from Acer, make them be a little bit more out of key here. But Urgot, Janna have to wait for the last ban from Acer. But it looks like it's very possible that Ari or Jax will be made available after these bans are through, because Acer, they're on first pick. It's not out of the realm of possibility to grab Karthus that early.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. We have the Vladimir ban. There are still a number of champions that are very strong against Karthus, and you don't necessarily need to ban Karthus. The issue is that Karthus was able to free farm, and that their team was so built around Karthus. So we'll see if they kind of change that up a little bit. WinFakt kind of thinking things over right now. Vladimir was definitely just an all-around strong champion for them in that last game. We'll have to see. I think if they can pick up Soraka and not allow that Karthus pick, I think they were a little bit surprised by the Alistar jungle banning Nautilus. So Nautilus just an all-around strong champion. Don't want to allow Acer to have that super strong jungler.
So Jax is open, Ari is open, Morgana, Shen, Soraka
Alistar.
Open.
There's a number of really strong champions open at this point.
Yep.
Graves as well. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Soraka pick right here, but I think they'll probably hold off. And pick someone like Alistar.
Yeah.
Alistar just can work on any number of comps.
I mean, Alistar was a pretty good early pickup for Acer in game 1, so I would not outside the realm of possibility. And a lot of that CC from Alistar was also what allowed Karthus to actually get the position he needed on the front line to pull off a lot of his damage. And there it is. There will be the first pick Alistar from Acer.
Yeah, and in response, Graves or Corki. Definitely a smart pick. Corki. So, instead of grabbing the Graves, Corki's AoE was so disruptive, they won't allow that Corki Taric combo. And so Corki Soraka going to WinFakt is just an incredibly strong bottom lane. Definitely makes a lot of sense. Now Acer,
Graves.
It'll probably be a Graves pick here, and then the second pick, we'll have to see. There's a lot of options, and it kind of depends on what they're trying to do. They might just go ahead and pick Graves and Taric, because that lane, does work out pretty well. And now, instead of Graves and Taric with Kayle, who doesn't have that, much killing presence, it's Graves and Taric with Alistar. And, WinFakt was Graves and Taric last time, so they'd be like swapping teams here. But it is a very aggressive kill bot lane when you pair it with an aggressive jungler, which they have currently. Or they could just run Graves and Alistar. So that would work. The issue is Graves and Alistar versus Corki and Soraka. Corki and Soraka have just so much harass, and it's tough to get, enough burst damage. So we'll have to see. I don't think that they have enough kill potential in that bottom lane without an aggressive jungler, but Nocturne works. So the Graves and Alistar bottom, and then having the Nocturne for the ganks, it gives them that aggression, it gives them that kill potential, so they can deal with just this great harass and great sustain that Corki and Soraka have.
I'm expecting an Ari pick actually coming in from WinFakt, because she is quite mobile. She can escape from Alistar's CC. She can escape a little bit further away from Graves. Kennen also is very capable of doing the same. You just go ahead, rush away, and readjust yourself in the positions of these fights. And the ult would be pretty good if Acer's looking to get up close and personal again. It's a great counter initiation coming in with the Kennen ult. Could do quite a bit, but also ambiguous for the time being. Kennen could be top, Kennen could be mid, not quite sure yet. And there's still a jungler that needs to be picked for WinFakt as well. So it might
I would guess Mundo. Yeah, it is Mundo.
Mundo Soraka is pretty good up front and taking a lot of damage, and plus the armor buff.
And the big thing is, how many junglers are left, and we have a couple banned off. We have Nocturne picked. Mundo versus Nocturne is a really common matchup. So, you know, Mundo, you have the counter jungling, you have the speed, so when Nocturne is being aggressive, one, you can either counter, you know, engage against him, or you can just go steal his jungle very quickly and, you know, get out of there while Nocturne is busy, you know, whittling away his time around the map. So definitely makes sense. And WinFakt, they wanted to keep that last pick open so they can pick either their top or their mid, and they you know have that versatility with Kennen. So right now, WinFakt,
well, they could
they have that counter pick.
They could Karthus Yorick again. They could. They're both open.
Acer could, but you know it's kind of difficult. We have the Karthus would work well against Kennen in fights. However, in lane, it wouldn't be, you know, the best decision. And early fights, Kennen would actually win. You come in, you quick burst down Karthus, and then you back off. So we'll have to see. You know, they are actually maybe going to go for it, and they have, you know, plenty of follow-up damage. I'm assuming if they're going with the Yorick, that it has to be, you know, that Karthus. You know, because we'll have to see. So yeah, it is the Karthus. So Karthus Yorick once again.
It worked before. It could work again, but this allows Kennen to just go ahead and take the mid position. So now WinFakt can go ahead and try and pick a champ top lane that can go up toe-to-toe with Yorick.
I would almost pick up Ari and just send Kennen top. But there's a number of champions you can go.
Kog'Maw.
There you go. So
nice.
Kog'Maw and Gragas both work very well against Karthus. We'll see. I think they're, you know, kind of trying to decide whether or not they want to send Kennen top or mid.
I'd like to see the Cog, because either one they send in mid would be great, and there we go. So Cog into the well, actually go for the cleanse. So Cog mid, Kennen top.
Well, he doesn't need, you know, Ignite. He doesn't.
Right.
He could use Ghost, but
he
just needs to disengage. And so if they ever engage on Kog'Maw, that's huge. So
very common pick.
But the thing is, though, with Kog'Maw too, is once if we're gonna see another late game situation like last game, that's the thing with that was the thing with game one, is that there was so much, you know, of an impending force coming in from Acer. That, you know, there's only so much that you could do to try and deflect that. And with Kog'Maw ult, once you're getting so farmed, that can do so much damage just on a team trying to force the engage. Like, they're just sitting there like in bushes, just waiting to try and get whatever engagement's possible. If you have a Kog'Maw picking at you from long range, you're just gonna slowly whittle them away.
Yeah, it's such a strong pick versus Karthus. It is a pretty common counter pick. And so, you know, both of them are going to kind of just farm in lane. It's going to be a pretty even lane matchup. Kind of boring, actually. But then once we come into the team fights...
Oh, God, yeah.
We don't have the Soraka pick on Acer, so without that Soraka against the with the Karthus, Kog'Maw can just wear him down, and the Soraka and Kog'Maw combo is just so devastating as the game progresses. You know, since the changes to Soraka, it was a while ago, but Soraka just gives Kog'Maw so much mana, you know, regen back. They can just bombard them, win the fights very easily. We'll have to see, and then, you know, having that Kennen pickup. We saw clg.EU run a very similar comp where they have the Kennen top, they have the Kog'Maw, so Kennen can just, you know, control those fights, control the front line, and run right into Karthus. So Kennen's fine with, you know, going down or throwing off the Zhonya's Hourglass or anything like that in controlling the fights. And as a result, Kog is just going to be so safe in the back line. They do have that Nocturne pick, which is going to be, you know, key whether or not they can take down Kog with that Nocturne, but it will be kind of difficult. And, you know, Nocturne is going to be walking right into Corki, and so what they want to do primarily is Mundo and Kennen hold the front line. Corki is kind of back there to just, you know, kill whoever, which is primarily going to be Alistar and Nocturne if they're coming right into Kog'Maw, and then Kog'Maw with the long range easily wins those longer team fights. So we'll have to see. One nice thing about Kog'Maw against Karthus is, you know, not only does Karthus not have the mobility, and you have the great presence and poke in fights, but also Kog'Maw, it's a little bit more common to go with those gold pretends, and with your AoE clearing, they both have AoE clearing, but Kog'Maw can farm actually a little bit faster than Karthus can. So if you go fast gold pretends on Kog'Maw and you're, you know, clearing the mid and you're clearing the jungle, then you can get a little bit of a farm advantage there, even though Karthus is one of the best farmers in the game.
Yep, but, you know, once you know, one of the few things, you know, pretty out there and threatening as opposed to a super farm Karthus is a super farmed Kog'Maw. And Kog'Maw, he has the super range advantage. He can go ahead and get those artillery shots, and could be enough. Just Kog'Maw alone could be enough to keep Acer at bay, but we'll have to see. But also remember, Yorick is still around. Once again, get that double zombie Karthus play in action. But WinFakt knows how to deflect it now. Just chill out, wait for everything to go, wait for the ult to go down, wait for Karthus to just go away, and then you can go ahead and re-engage. They know how to deal with it now, and I think they have a team a little bit better suited to deal with the combo now, but Acer's still going to go with it. It worked from game 1. If it works, might as well do it. So, going to have to see how it goes game number 2. And also keep in mind that there's a bit of an AD swap here. Corki was on Acer game 1, going to be on WinFakt game 2. Same thing with Graves. Going to do a little bit of a flip-flop. And it's not totally uncommon to see teams go ahead and do this. Like, well, I bet I can play this champion better than you. Well, I bet we can play your champion better than you can. So it's just trying to make sure that other teams cannot get the ADs or other champs that they may be familiar to. But we're going to go ahead and you're going to see what happens game number 2. And mid lane is going to be real interesting, man.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it works out. It's primarily going to be, sit back and farm.
Yep.
Kennen versus Yorick top is always an interesting matchup. Kennen has a little bit of range rest, but it's not enough to take down Yorick. And so Yorick is actually going to have a little bit of an advantage in that lane. Kennen has a slight advantage early, but, for a little bit, once Yorick starts getting a little bit more mana, once he goes back, gets his items, he can sit there, wear down Kennen. The big key will be whether or not Kennen can pick up kills. But I don't know. It's going to be tough. Kennen doesn't really have enough damage to take down Yorick on his own, so he really needs those ganks from Mundo. But for the most part, I think they're going to just kind of sit back, control the lane. And Kennen is a very safe pick, doesn't have to worry about those Nocturne ganks. And so he's really just going to sit back and be like, okay, we're farming. Mid, they're going to sit back and farm as well. Bottom lane is going to be where we see a lot of the aggression, and Corki and Soraka, is generally really safe. You can farm very safely, but if we have an aggressive gank coming in from Nocturne, that could definitely be strong for them. And so the bot lane is primarily their kill lane. They do have great dragon control with that Nocturne and Karthus. Nocturne commonly will build wriggles, and so they'll just drop it so quickly. They could rush, objectives like dragon. We saw that last game they were able to rush a couple of those. So we'll have to see how that affects things.
And also saw last game how much of a factor Graves was in team fights for WinFakt, and also keep in mind WinFakt here, prime target may very well be the same as game 1, where you just want to go ahead and get Karthus out of the fight as quick as possible. But Graves got quite a bit of sustained damage in those fights. Unlike Corki comes in, just blows away all the missiles, and you can only he does a lot of it in short bursts. But Graves, with lots of continued damage, could be enough to just plug away a WinFakt while everyone's distracted with the Karthus play.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that works out. I mean, they do have really great late game presence. If Nocturne gets that initiation, like if they kind of split up like they have in the past against the Karthus, then Nocturne and Graves, they can do really well in those 1v1 situations. A lot of it's going to come down to who wins the matchup, Corki and Graves. And right now it is pretty even. Corki has a little bit more damage output. Graves has a little bit more burst. Graves is a little bit more tanky. But Corki, with the damage advantage and with the armor shredding, if Corki can take an advantage where, early in the game, Corki can prevent Graves from continuing to farm, because this is going to be a really long game. So, if around 20 minutes in, Corki can control bottom lane and not allow Graves to farm, then that could be huge for WinFakt. If when the team fights happen, Corki can kind of stand toe-to-toe with Graves, or, have enough damage to burst down like Nocturne when he comes in, that's going to be huge. But we'll have to see. I think they kind of figured out to an extent how to work around this Karthus and Yorick pick, but even so, Acer, they were able to continue taking advantages in that last game. And so we'll have to see, how WinFakt is going to survive.
So loading on up. Game number 2 heading on in. Acer versus WinFakt. IPL5 EU qualifier number 2. Acer managed to take game 1 with a lot of the same Yorick Karthus play we should be seeing here as well. But WinFakt, they've got a little bit more of a tanky front line with the Mundo, Soraka, Kog'Maw in the back lane. Plus, Corki and Kennen get all the extra damage needed. So we'll see if WinFakt can actually go ahead and deflect the double zombie Karthus this time around. Should be getting on into this game shortly. So we have to see, man. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I'm pretty sure Game 1 is quite possibly one of the best games we've ever had on stream. And if you haven't seen it, go back and see it when it goes up. But for now, though, game number 2 coming on in. So in pings immediately coming in from WinFakt there onto the angled brush over by their blue. So because they know Mundo commonly starts off on the red buff, so maybe prime opportunity for Acer to get an invade in there if they so desire. But they may actually go ahead and wander up top to get the long approach for the for a red for a
and
gank of
Cannon
red.
is actually going to walk right into him, actually backing off.
Yeah,
So
well, you got the yeah, we
you know,
know.
has that kind of inkling. Yeah, does you know, see them up there throwing off the ping. They will back off, but you know, we'll see whether or not we get a quick invade, steal the red buff from Mundo.
What?
Mundo and Alistar. Wow, Alistar maybe going to try and get a quick gank up here.
Yeah.
You know, they might actually be transitioning. So this is one of the nice things about Yorick. Yorick is one of those champions where you can send him bot lane, and he can do very well. And so Corki and Soraka is a very defensive lane. You know, they have the sustained harass, but for the most part, they're going to sit back and farm. So you send Yorick against that weak lane that doesn't have a lot of kill potential, and Yorick can farm, you know, ranged fine. And now all of a sudden, you know, Kennen is put in a little bit more difficult position. Kennen is also a champion that does very well in a 2v1, but it will be a little bit more aggressive. So WinFakt actually maybe going to switch lanes, or actually no, they're going to sit back. So Alistar just coming for the really aggressive level 1 against Kennen. When Kennen comes up into lane, going to put Yorick at a quick advantage there.
Yep. So, and you know, Yorick pretty early on, if he doesn't get a quick advantage on most champs, he can just go ahead and just bully them out of lane for pretty much the remainder of the laning phase. But you know, did see last game, the Nautilus was able to catch up pretty fairly by just staying there and farming up, getting tanky. But you know, Nautilus is also not that much of an you know, very item-dependent champ. You know, you just go ahead, stack the GP10s, and be fine. Kennen is not quite the same way. Kennen, one of the core items you need on Kennen, you know, is, you know, in order to sustain in lane, is a revolver. So, and usually that's also going to be around the same time where Yorick is going to go ahead and, you know, start stacking up, getting damage.
Nocturne is coming up here. They are doing the pincer
this
move.
is
We
just
have the
mean.
Alistar. There's the Pulverize. I was thinking he might go headbutt, but there's the Fear as well. We have the Flash from Godbro. He will be able to back off despite that Ignite. So going down very quickly. He could probably sit in lane, but he's actually going to recall. So give Yorick some time to push him into the tower.
Right.
And this is going to be a quick level advantage for Yorick.
Yeah, Yorick's just going to go ahead and get there all that free farm while Kennen has to walk back the long way to lane. In the meantime, Yorick's just going to go ahead and push top lane. But remember that all the time that Alistar was up top lane, Graves has been here on his lonesome here against 2 members of WinFakt, and they know. So they're just going to go ahead and harass, like, you know, your friend's not here. You can only do so much on your own, and Alistar will be there shortly, but Graves will be somewhat hindered until he gets there. And Corki just getting some free damage off in the meantime, but okay, the cow is back. Time to back off.
Yeah, and
Back
Mundo
to the
actually coming into
laning
this top
phase.
lane right behind Yorick will be able to come up if he's trying to be aggressive. But unfortunately, you know, Kennen, he knows he doesn't have enough killing potential right now. It really wouldn't mean a lot. So
Still pushing up, though.
he could go now that the wave is gone, but he knows he's going to be walking right into the minion wave, and they are actually going. Kennen going to be chasing him down a little bit. They probably don't have enough damage for this, but we actually have the red buff, so we'll see. We have the exhaust going down as well. Can we get the stun? The stun could prove fatal. We have the ignite, and so very quickly they're actually able to pick up the first blood. Mundo does have plenty of damage, and so early on, you know, has just so much, and then having that red buff is huge.
Yep, and it was patience. It was just patience that WinFakt was, you know, looking to portray, like they did very much game 1, waiting for the opportunities, waiting for him to push up. But also notice here, Karthus coming on down to the mid. He has not been spotted. He's got the wall.
Fire main.
Fire main just could prove pretty troublesome for you. Silence.
Soraka's like, I'm out of here.
Sounds like Karthus, silence, get out of here. And then yeah, Fire main is just too far out. The flash in pursuit, heals going down. Fire main and the well-timed lay waste headbutt pulverize will get the kill onto the Corki.
I was honestly
Wow.
surprised Fire
It took a
Main
while.
lasted that long, and so
Yeah.
you know, we had the silences coming in with Soraka. We had so much control. Really, you know, nice play. The kiting back and forth from Corki, able to dodge some Qs.
Yeah.
Looked like he was almost able to get out, but Piri was sitting there waiting. He had the headbutt pulverize combo. He was going to be fine. So you know, quick kill there. So 1-1, and we do have a really aggressive bottom lane. So that's definitely going to be something for them to consider. But you know, as Corki gets levels, he will be safer and safer. But at the same time, as you know, Graves and Nocturne get levels, they're going to be more and more dangerous. So there's always that kind of like push and pull dichotomy going on in that bottom lane.
But also keep in mind, because Revan spent so much time away from mid, Aqualord got some time to catch up on farm, try to get a little bit extra gold, and about 10 creeps up over Karthus in the mid. So whoever,
we have a showdown top.
Oh, nice. Mundo is in there in the bush, just getting the quick cleaver onto the York, and all this damage will be more than enough.
And Nocturne is just thinking about how awkward that is right now. We'll block the cleaver with the shield. But coming up, and so Nocturne wanted to get the gank. They're actually going to chase him down. We have the cleaver.
Well.
We are going to be able to pick this up. We don't have any sort of escape. We have the fear going off. One more fear should cleave should do it. There's the stun from Godbro. Can we get enough damage? One more cleave and attack. No, going to back off. I thought Kennen, if she had chased or if he had chased, would have been able to do it. I corrected myself. Damn it. But Kennen versus York top lane, they're proving a lot of aggression, and the Mundo pick works very well. Mundo, isn't like a quick burst ganker, but he has great sustained damage. With the exhaust, he can chase you down extremely easily, and so it's actually working out very well for them in that top lane. Even though York does have did get that slight early advantage over Kennen.
Yep. So now in the mid. Kog'Maw's 6. He's got his living artillery. Revan just hit 6. So now there's the Requiem. So now everyone in WinFakt should just be a little bit more aware. Don't get low. If you're gonna get low health, don't get low health. So Karthus will come in with the laser from space and bring you down. And he's already wandered down. He's already gotten an assist down bot, and he's looking hungry for more kills.
Oh, Alistar going in onto Corki. Corki should be able to get out of there. The Soraka heal will be fine. And so, actually, this is the issue with, Graves and Alistar. You want to be really aggressive. They are chasing him down, getting free damage. And so, Karthus coming down as well won't be able to get quite in range. But, this is free damage. And actually, Alistar going in for it. He's going to go very low, but throws off the Ignite. And the ultimate from Karthus is going to be close to picking it up. It does pick up the kill on the Fire main. So they are able to exchange that aggression.
But
I thought they were going to get out.
He didn't have to leave mid to do that, though. That's the thing. It's the rest of his teammates were pushing up a little bit too far out, and it's like there's only so much Karthus can do. He's not the most mobile guy, and that is a global ult.
It's usually pretty difficult to roam as Karthus, and primarily you want to kind of just sit mid and farm and. Just farm, pressure ultimate when you need to. It slows down his farm a little bit. The big issue, which hasn't shown up yet, is if he walks past some wards by WinFakt, then Karthus is really vulnerable early in the game, and he's just going to be sitting out in the middle of the river like, hey, guys, help me. This is, a shame. I'm going to go down. I'm going to die. We do see Godbro, putting on some great pressure in this top lane. York sitting back, going to wait for the lane to push back into him, and then he will be fine. But even so, the nice advantage has been huge. Kog'Maw going for that fast tier, so... kind of more of a standard mana build, isn't going to go for those quick gold pretends, so, we'll kind of see how that works out for him, but he will get some quick damage. Will be a little bit stronger in the early game fights, and so they want to control the early game before Karthus gets to the super late game. There's actually the flash from Puri, followed up by the Nocturne ultimate with Fruity. We do have the cleanse, though, or actually the cleanse doesn't go down. He's able to easily get out of there, chasing him a little bit, but will want to back off from some of that Karthus damage.
Yep, so... There's one thing I did want to note earlier, though. Karthus and Kog'Maw, while their gold income is pretty much the same, there is an XP lead here on to the Kog'Maw. So there's a little bit of an advantage for him there, and should be able to deal out just a tad, a little bit more damage on the harass. But both champs in mid, they have their blue buff. They're both farming pretty effectively, but. In the long run, though, if Karthus keeps leading those lanes to try and get those ganks, if one of them doesn't work out, then he's putting himself so far behind that Kog'Maw, that's just going to be the opportunity for him to go ahead and come on back and overtake Karthus as you're heading into the mid-game. Top lane, in the meantime, Kennen, 53, York, 44, so a little bit of a farm lead onto the Kennen. And a little bit of a slight XP lead as well, but all the meantime, just rushing on through, getting some extra harass. But there is the flash forced from the Karthus. Mundo was nearby. He's like, no, we're not having any of that. And then Acer bot lane, continuing to push on, getting some pressure down on WinFakt here in bot. But if Acer keeps pushing, if Karthus comes down, he's going to have less opportunities for to come down for those ganks like he was before.
Yeah, really nice control by the Test, moving all over the map.
Yep.
Had some successful ganks early on. Definitely wants to counter out that Nocturne a little bit. We see the ward. They had placed it a while ago. That was Karthus's or Kog'Maw's mid ward to kind of keep control of where Nocturne is, and it does go down now. So we'll see. This is kind of getting to the point in time where Nocturne and Karthus could rush this Baron, and actually they are going to go for it. I think Acer pushing up the bot lane, and so with the pushing pressure that Graves has, very quickly they can force Corki and Soraka into the tower and now take this dragon extremely quickly. They will have to watch out for the Kog'Maw, but Yorick is here as well, so it should be pretty safe.
Acer should be able to take this pretty convincingly and quickly. There it is, and the Kog'Maw is here. He's getting some pretty good damage down on a retreating Acer, but they got the dragon. There's not a whole lot you can do about that. Might as well just go back and farm.
Yeah, and in the meantime, Kennen will be able to deny this wave against Yorick, I think. Oh, actually, maybe not going to get it fast enough. Should be. So Yorick, going to fall behind, continuing. We do see Nocturne kind of moving towards the mid. Mundo trying to see if he can, find where Nocturne is, I think, so he can kind of prevent these ganks.
Oh, Nocturne going to be going back, but the Test will get a quick vision on him. Hey, Fruity.
No,
don't
he was
AFK,
tabbed.
Don't AFK. He was tabbed out. Don't do that, man. But wow.
I'm pretty sure he was looking at his items, but he is pretty low. We do have Piri coming in here, and now he's got to deal with Karthus coming down. So can he get out of there? Revan is on the move.
Nice.
We do have the quick dash from Graves. He's going to have some fast damage. There's the ultimate. One more attack can maybe do it, but the heal from Soraka, the second heal, they will be able to get out of there. And so the nice move from the Tess, and then the escape. Piri will almost have the headbutt pulverize combo up once again. He throws off his ultimate, trying to get in there, can't hit it, and now Karthus and all of them will have to back off, while Firemane is just unleashing hell into them.
We could still go ahead and get this. He has no choice. He has to get the Valkyrie away to safety. And just those heals from Soraka, just too good. Too good in a pinch.
Awesome play by the Tess, recognizing, all right, Nocturne is low after Dragon. He didn't have Wriggles yet, so, usually you're going to get kind of low as Nocturne. They didn't have someone like Soraka or something to heal him up. So they're like, okay, let me find him. I'm, the man. Let me try and hunt him down. He found him, was able to pick up that kill. Yeah. Akalord taking, again, some nice advantage in the mid. He can chase him down. One more ult is going to be able to do it, but he gets it with the auto attack. Akalord taking down Revan in the mid.
Yeah, just a quick opportunity. He's like, oh, you're going to go for a raise? I'm here. I've got the range. I can take you out pretty easy. And you know what? Kennen's getting some very effective harass now onto Yorick, top lane. Still a full level advantage in XP. Going to be forcing him to back. So once again, that's another wave denied off of Acer here into top lane.
Yeah, that's absolutely huge. Kennen with the range advantage and able to just control the lane so effectively. All of WinFakt, they're just trying to pressure Acer, and so they don't want to allow them to be comfortable and sit back and farm. We do see a huge farm advantage mid for Kog versus Karthus, and it all started with that roaming. As you pointed out earlier, and just now for Karthus to be falling behind. I mean, Graves can push Corki into the tower, and so even though Corki is a very safe farmer, it allows Graves to keep up with him, not have to worry about Corki harassing him at all. So he will go back and do pretty well for himself as well. So we'll have to see.
So just taking a look at everyone's wallet here. I mean, right now, I mean, Acer is like, okay, Karthus, you've been walking around a little bit too much. It's not really working out. Yorick, you're getting pushed in a little bit too far. This Kennen is getting way too farmed up. Right now, Acer, their biggest saving grace is waiting for Graves to get farmed up, and he's going to be a lot of their damage. But right now, Yorick is actually getting, he may actually get dove. He's ulted himself just in safety. And the Kennen ult not going to be able to connect a whole lot. The Tess does use the ult for the extra movement speed to try and get in, but not going to be doing a whole lot. A
lot of that was the nice ward coverage from Yorick. So he had the ward in that second bush, and you saw WinFakt, they were picking the ward. The Tess, he had to sit back in the far bush, so he knew, all right, if I come into this bush, he's going to know I'm here. He's going to be like, oh, well, let me, just back up a step.
Yep.
So, really nice job there. He doesn't want those down the lane ganks, and that's, definitely a concern against a jungler like Mundo. So he's able to sit back and we'll be fine. We do see Nocturne coming in this bottom lane, and Piri walking up, gets the headbutt, but no pulverize. There's the pulverize now. We didn't get the Valkyrie, so he will back off, though.
He's
the
waiting.
heal, he's baiting him in. Corki chasing after Graves a little bit. But we'll have to back off.
The missile, though, they've got the vision. They ping him there. I was like, oh, so that's why. That's why he's been there his entire time. The artillery.
Oh, wow.
Almost got the Karthus there again, but yeah.
And he used the flash as well. He thought he was going to get the kill, so Akalord, he used the flash to try and get down Karthus.
But Karthus' flash is down too, though.
Yeah, it is down. Even so, he does have a really nice farm advantage still and can deny more experience and gold from Karthus. So Karthus, he's doing okay, but he's definitely falling behind Cog, and that was a concern coming in. But we do see Mundo, stealing the race. He's kind of watching an eye just to the test, doing such a great job controlling this jungle, and maybe going to duel with Fruity here a little bit. Nope, just going to back off.
Just be a jerk.
Yeah.
Just being a jerk. Here's those files you wanted.
It's his, he's Mundo. It's his job.
It is his job. It's his job to be a jerk. You wanted those files now. You're too bad. You're going to your face. And the top tower, tier 1, Godbro manages to take it out, getting some damage onto Jorgen in the meantime. The ult is back up. He is ignited. Should be able to get away though. There we go. So good tower kill from WinFakt up top lane. Now it's a matter of will Kennen stay top lane to continue the aggression? Will Kennen start roaming? Will Yorick have the ability to free farm? He's going back. What's he buying? And also, he's still got a little bit of gold. But he also mentioned, worthwhile to mention, started out with the Dorans for the extra AD harass, building into the Hextech, and it's been something pretty common from Kennen's lately too. Just kind of go for a sort of hybrid build.
Yeah, it's actually a really smart build. To start off with some Dorans, gives you some lane control. And the big thing is, as AP Kennen against Yorick, you just can't deal enough damage to harass him down. But you need that auto attack harass. Yorick, he would have the sustain. So by going the Dorans, you are safe. Whoa. We do see we're going to have a huge fight here, though. Mundo throwing off the ultimate, wants to get an engage on this bottom lane. Maybe even going to tank it. Nope, they are going to back off. But this does allow them to control this dragon for the first time in this series. Acer able to take it game 1, and WinFakt in really nice positioning here.
There is a ward in the pit, but Mundo, he's got the oracles, bought that with the extra money he made on his stock options. But the dragon will reset, and Acer is here. Everyone is here. It's a nice little party. It's just a matter of who's going to go ahead and initiate first. And Acer once again with that candy play, trying to bait out with the wards. But now it's a poke battle. Who can get the advantage situation ever so closely? Alistar is slowly creeping on up, and now WinFakt is split. Kog'Maw does have to rejoin the rest of the team in a wall of pain, keeping everyone from WinFakt back. But there's a lot of good poke here from a WinFakt that could definitely get everything they need. Kennen is here too with those shurikens, can go off and get a whole lot of extra damage than whoever's out in front. And Graves initiates on to the dragon. The dragon's now chasing him along with the rest of WinFakt, and Fruity is caught out way too far in the back. There goes the wall of pain, and a flash ultimate from Kennen, catching Karthus off guard, but he has been dueled. Now it's like game 1 all over again. Will he be able to get any kills? Will he be able to get anything while he's in this Revenant form? But WinFakt is just doing a little bit too well. They get the kill
and
onto
Kennen
the Graves.
Coming into Alistar here. We have the ultimate, the nice headbutt from Piri, actually going to throw him off, but unfortunately he does go down still. WinFakt just taking so much control in these fights,
nice.
And we don't have that zombie Karthus coming yet. We don't have him just instantly wrecking, and a lot of it is the farm advantage for WinFakt. They will be able to...
Yep.
I thought they would actually take that tower, so they will back off, get the dragon.
No, they'll do both. They can do both. Everyone from WinFakt is alive. They can go
so
ahead
they are
and do
splitting.
both.
Okay, yeah. So Corky able to take down that tower. They will get both. I was kind of expecting they would just take it first, but that's fine.
Yeah.
WinFakt, able to get the nice positions, and the Soraka definitely working out to counter out some of that damage.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see if we get like a fast Aegis. That would definitely help out.
Not to mention the poke from
right.
WinFakt.
Oh yeah,
is
that's huge.
so superior right now.
Catching Nocturne out of position was
yeah.
really the deciding factor on that. And then Kennen coming up, Kennen versus Karthus. He's able to engage on Karthus away from the rest of the team and just take him down. And now all of a sudden, Karthus's AOE is I don't know, kind of all defunct, but
right.
We do see Acer pushing down this mid lane. They're getting a lot of damage. Godbro going to get the stun off, chase him off, and Akalord very quickly picking up the kill onto Fruity. They will be chasing now, so the stun underneath the tower and all that cog damage. He has the Rylai's chasing down Karthus. Oh, we might get a good fight here once again for WinFakt.
Kog'Maw is still in the back line getting all the damage necessary, puts the artillery about where Alistar is going to flash away from. Baits him out into it, and they can still pressure this under tower. WinFakt is in such a huge position right now.
It's weird. It's only 19 minutes in. If it were like 22 minutes or something, then all of a sudden this would be a completely different, kind of feel, because this would be a Baron opportunity for WinFakt, but they will be able to steal that blue. And so Karthus, not going to have that blue. He will fall out of mana pretty quickly. Corki in the meantime pushing bottom while WinFakt can just pressure this mid.
Wow.
And we do see that slow from the Rylai's onto Kog'Maw, onto Nocturne now. We actually have the engage from Nocturne trying to get Octolord.
Not liking this, but Nocturne, he is going in, tries to get the kill on the Kog'Maw, but he is ulted by the York, so he will come back for just a little bit while longer. The Kennen should be the first one to go down for WinFakt. And now Mundo, he's getting a little bit of trouble, but does still get the double kill onto the Karthus. And now Acer doesn't know what to do. They got their one kill. That's kind of what they wanted. Nocturne and Fruity, he got a little bit too overzealous, but yeah.
That's the strength of the disengage on the Corki. Hold that up again, Nick. Oh, he just walked up away a second. But that's the strength of the disengage with that cleanse on Kog'Maw. And so Kog'Maw just taking over this game. WinFakt, they are angry. We had a special announcement. Hopefully he'll come back and run. But supposedly we're having a special match tonight with TSM Evo. It might be versus TSM because we have TSM in the office.
Let's get
right
through
now.
This
we have
first,
this
Let's
one.
Get through this first.
Right. We will have that info for
focus
you
on the
soon.
game at hand. We can save announcements for later, but for now, because WinFakt is going in, pushing down the mid tier 2, and it's looking pretty grim right now for Acer. They tried to get the magic going on, the same magic they had game number 1, but it's not quite working out. WinFakt has the superior farm.
Right.
They have the superior poke, and Acer cannot get the engage that they want because they just can't get close enough to WinFakt without losing a member or two of their team right now. And Fruity's just being the scapegoat here and on everything. He's 0-4-1, and these team fights he's being focused down instantly. He's caught behind. He's kind of like the the one in the back of the line, just not up on the memos that Mundo is delivering.
And so in the meantime, WinFakt just taking so much control in this game. They have so much killing potential. It'd be kind of nice to have a Zhonya's on Kennen, but it doesn't really matter. The Test can probably just chase down Shabs here. He will be able to get some nice damage. Just going to back off, though. And so actually just denying Yorick from farming. And that's what WinFakt's doing a really nice job of all around the map. They already have the farm advantage, and they need to continue denying Acer from farming. We will see that blue going on to Kog'Maw, so that's going to give them some great control as well. And it's 22 minutes in. We do have an 8K gold advantage. The Test just not allowing Yorick to get up here.
So now we got to think, what can Acer do to swing the game back into their position? And one of the things they could do is just go ahead and aggressively take objectives like towers whenever possible. Because while there is the win, there's WinFakt, they have the poke, they have the push, but for the moment now there's
Fruity's going to go down.
Fruity, can you get out of there alive? You're getting chunked out a little bit too far out. You have to use the Q. Valkyrie still in pursuit, and Fruity might actually be dove under his own tower. The missile not connecting, and he's ulting, trying to get what he can, and the ult from York being baited throws it onto the Nocturne, but there's the Karthus ult. Will you get anything from it? No, because you're not farmed enough. Karthus, you're not farmed enough. That thing's not doing as much damage as you'd like it to.
Yeah, and the big thing is that WinFakt, they know with that Kog'Maw presence, they want to pressure Acer into these long fights where they can just slowly wear them down. They are pretty low right now. Nocturne was low, so they will have to back off. And Nocturne, the ult is down, so it is going to be a 5v4 advantage in WinFakt's favor. We do see the Test running right into him. Piri and onto Karthus. The quick ult from Kennen. Karthus drops almost instantly, and Octolord is fine in the background. Piri throws off the ultimate. Mundo will go down, but this is a one fight for WinFakt, and we have the follow-up damage from Kog'Maw with that slow. He gets the slow and the ultimate once again. We have the flash from Godbro trying to chase him down, but Graves with the flash, and he will be able to pick up the kill. So Corki actually grabbing it and not going to get the Baron, but just by pressuring Acer into these positions, they know they can win these fights because they are just so much stronger than them right now.
Fruity, there's nothing he can do.
There's the surrender.
There's a straight up into the surrender. Acer knows, like, listen, we can't win this. Let's go on to game number 3, and there you go, WinFakt. Game number 2 with Dat Kog'Maw, man. Dat Cog can win you games.
Yeah, Cog is insane. I mean, Cog is one of the the unholy triumvirate of just ridiculously strong champions right now. When you look at Jax, Urgot, and Kog'Maw, they're they're kind of three of them, and there's a number of really strong champions, but Kog'Maw definitely in that top form as an AP mid. He can just win so easily late game. I mean, he's so strong all around. And you saw, WinFakt taking really strong advantages early on, and it all started with the farm advantages. It all started with Karthus roaming and Kog'Maw winning that mid lane, and then Kennen, crushing Yorick top as well. So, really nice play by WinFakt. Was really cool to see, and we'll see how Acer responds, if they think they can run the Karthus comp again, or if they're like, oh.
I'm pretty sure they're reconsidering their options right now. And like mentioned before, a lot of it has to do with that roaming. Karthus, it's not uncommon to see AP mids roaming down for ganks, but Karthus is
not one of them.
Karthus is not one of them. He's not very mobile, and even when you do go down for those ganks, if you don't get the kill, you're going to return to lane a little bit weaker. An assist, not really going to cut it. If you come up with nothing, that's the worst case scenario.
Yeah, whenever he goes down to bottom, a kill is worth, like 20 CS. He's missing out on, minimum a wave, probably close to 2 waves. So like 12 CS that he could be getting. And so, very quickly you fall behind there.
Yeah.
But Kog'Maw with the great control, the Kennen Kog'Maw matchup, works out so well.
Oh, yeah.
All their team, the Tess, Mundo with the great control over the jungle, really aggressively pursuing Nocturne and able to get a number of kills. So we'll see, how it goes coming into game number 3. We will be back shortly, so we will go to a commercial break, and we'll be back for game number 3, WinFakt versus Acer.